Hello everyone and welcome back to Planet Coaster, and we're not in Alton Towers because today is National Roller Coaster Day. Of course it's the 16th of August and I thought I would celebrate it by going back into the past, taking a coaster design, the original looping coaster that was patented on this day in 1898 and rebuilding it in Planco. Now this isn't an exact one-to-one copy because there just is not the tools for that. It's literally just, I'm basing it on a patent. There's no satellite images or anything I can use to make this, so it's going to be very inaccurate, but I've tried my best. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing, and if you're not on our Discord server, of course, join the Discord server. There's an invite link in the comments and the description. That being said, let's get into the time lapse. So then here we are in the time lapse, and we're starting off with making the track, or building track, however you want to call it. And yeah, this is probably the hardest part of it all because I've never really used a Wild Mouse track in Planet Coaster, and I was actually in for kind of a shock when I first actually used this track type. And it's because there's two different tracks. There's the standard one, which is the one I use, and then there's the it's a really weird sort of banking offset sort of track. I think it's just used to make like little airtime hills or little dips, but like it was so weird. I was so confused, like what on earth is happening. Eventually I did figure it out, of course. Sorry about that, I can't speak today, but yeah, that track works basically done. Didn't use the 4 meter method because there's no need to use the 4 meter method at all. And if you're not already realizing what patent I've based this off, there's this, it's on your screens now. God, I really can't talk today. You found it quite difficult to do this loop because it's not your typical vertical loop, it's a proper round one. I had to shape it properly, and of course because the Wild Mouse isn't supposed to be inverted, there was no preset that I could use, and the vertical loop is the only preset I would use in Planet Coaster. Now I'm starting off with the supports. These supports were extremely easy to do, and thank God the patent just had these standard A-shaped supports on them instead of weird Gersau supports like you have these days on the Smiler. God, I hated doing Smiler's supports when I was doing that recreation. And yeah, it was very straightforward to do. Just made one support and copy and pasted it throughout the track and making sure it connects to the track. There was no specific connector that I could see on the patent, so literally just did this, making sure it doesn't collide with the train there or the track below it. So yeah, I mean, I think the riders will be able to hit that support, but it's not moving fast enough to cause any damage to their arms probably. And this is all the way back in the 1800s, so I doubt they even cared back then. Now, like I said at the start of the video, I wasn't able to get it fully accurate to the original patent, and you can see there the final turnaround is very large. That final turnaround is supposed to be directly underneath the turnaround above it, and it's supposed to keep the path of the turnaround above it, but just simply wasn't really able to do that because of the station in Planet Coaster. The station has to be put there, and yeah, you know, all the different stuff in Planet Coaster. Doing a custom station platform here, I absolutely love doing custom station platforms in Planet Coaster. Honestly, it makes your station look a lot better. If you're not doing custom station platforms, then you really should be, because it can make your station look like, or go from a 1 to like a 6 or a 7 instantly, because the station platforms in Planet Coaster, so I just dropped something then, the station platform in Planet Coaster is just, it's not really the best looking thing, to be honest. It's really wide, it's really stupid how they textured the floor. Yeah, it's not the best looking station at all, but you know, do your own thing with your scenery and it will look a lot better. So starting the perimeter fence, and of course every coaster has a perimeter fence, even coasters back in the 1800s. Now this wasn't on the original patent, but I did find a picture of a coaster from Coney Island, which was a dual looping coaster, and that was apparently designed by Edwin Prescott. I nearly forgot his name then. As well, so I just used a fence from that. It was a black and white photo, but you could clearly see the fence from it, and it had a little sign on it saying beware of pickpockets. I mean, yeah, I mean, pickpockets are still a thing today, so of course beware pickpockets. But yeah, like with the support, sorry, these perimeter fences were very easy to do. It's not, once again, it's not like the Smiler where it's just downhill, uphill, downhill, uphill. Yeah, it was just a bit easier to do. Carrying on the theme of those basic old looking wooden fences for the perimeter fence with the queue line as well. And this is a blueprint on the workshop. Of course, there's a link where you can download this in the description. I put it on the workshop. I put like signs and arrows, tell you where to put a queue and everything. So if you do want to have this coaster in your park, then of course download it on the workshop, link in the description, and have fun with it, of course. Unfortunately, the fences didn't really line up perfectly with the edges of the queue, so some of them are like glitched into each other or clipped into each other, however you want to call it. But I did use Hydro's coasters, coaster nets, sorry, for the actual like wired part of the fence. They just look so good, and I couldn't resist using them, to be honest. I tried not to use any toolkit items in this, but the concrete station and the nets from Hydro, I honestly could not resist using them. I love the pieces, and there'll be a link in the description to where you can download them, of course. So here's starting the station, the main station. It's not really a building, but it's more of like a shelter or a cover. This wasn't in the original patent. In the original patent, it was literally just a platform, no roof or anything, no entrance or exit. It's just a platform. Like I imagine it was designed for a fun fair, but I wanted to have a little shelter because it just doesn't look right just having it as a platform. It really does not look right. So I just designed this little thing. It's not really supposed to be anything special or anything good looking, just a typical shelter. It looks more like a Dodgems shelter. You'll see in a minute actually. I have to say, when you go to the fun fair and you see the shelter for the Dodgems, it looks a bit more like that than a coaster station shelter, and I didn't really intend for it to be like that, but it just ended up being like that in the end, and it just looks decent, really. I mean, it's not really supposed to look anything spectacular. This is designed to be a carnival fun fair type of thing, so in my opinion, I think this looks good enough. Starting a bit of the cross beams, I forgot to put those in. For some reason I just left gaps in between each, what do you call them, like arches? I don't actually know, arches, but I put them in. This actually reminds me of my my local market square actually. Of course, around the UK in many towns there's like market squares, and that looks exactly like my local market square. I don't know why. Here I'm just starting a ticket booth. The inspiration from this, I literally just googled on Google Images old fun fair ticket booth, and I just based it on the image I found, really. Some of them looked very modern and very tacky, but I mean that might be because they just haven't changed that much throughout the years. I literally searched old-fashioned fun fair ticket booth and it literally looks like the ones we still have today. So yeah, not much evolution in terms of ticket booths and fun fairs, but it still looks like an old-fashioned ticket booth, which is what I wanted. And that's the end of the time lapse, and you can enjoy some cinematics, including an on-ride POV. Now I'm going to leave you here, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, then please do consider subscribing, and if you're not on the Discord server, of course, there's an invite link in the comments and the description. That being said, enjoy the cinematics, enjoy the POV, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.